behold, the pinnacle of despair. The crimson-haired enchantress, in her magenta gown, poised upon the grand staircase like a forgotten queen, her gloved hand gripping the balustrade, as if to anchor her crumbling world, while the Duke's icy gaze pierces her from below. His whispered words, "This waltz signifies nothing," echoing like a death knell amid the chandeliers, diamond shards, and the swirling dancers' mockery. In that suspended instant, her heart fractures under the weight of his armored rejection. The ballroom's opulent facade crumbling into a vortex of unspoken grief and simmering fury, where propriety's chains bind tighter than any embrace. Yet from this abyss of dismissal rises an unyielding spark, a defiant rhythm that promises to reshape destinies, if only they dare to step beyond the shadows. If this shattering gaze has seized your soul, subscribe now, for the tempests of revelation ahead will forge alliances from the ruins of solitude.
The grand hall of Eldoria's most illustrious estate pulsed with the fervor of 1,000 flickering flames, their golden glow dancing across gilded walls like fleeting illusions of warmth. Nalani Reyes lingered in the alcove's embrace, her magenta gown a vivid splash against the shadows, its puffed sleeves and beaded bodice whispering of faded elegance long overshadowed by misfortune. She had mastered this art of partial concealment, present enough to appease the rigid codes of high society, yet obscured sufficiently to evade the predatory gazes of those who hunted fortunes or fleeting amusements. From this vantage, she surveyed the whirlwind of silk and satin, the officers in their crimson uniforms twirling debutantes like fragile blooms in a storm. There was Lady Serena Vale, parading her desperation with calculated smiles, hoping to ensnare a viscount's wandering eye. Over yonder, Matron Eloan Hart presided over the assembly's judgments, her word a decree that could elevate or exile. And circling the heiresses were the ever-present opportunists, their polished compliments slicing through the air like veiled daggers. The entire spectacle unfolded as a meticulously choreographed farce, one that both enthralled and repulsed Nalani in equal measure. "You're evading once more," came the voice, sharp as a winter gale yet laced with reluctant affection. Nalani did not flinch. Her guardian, Aunt Thalira Voss, possessed an uncanny knack for materializing at the most inopportune moments, her presence a blend of stern guidance and unspoken burdens. "I'm not evading," Nalani replied with practiced calm, her voice a soft melody against the orchestra's swell. "Merely offering silent solidarity from afar." The lyra settled beside her, her emerald silk rustling like leaves in autumn wind, her fan fluttering in a cadence that bespoke profound exasperation. "You are skulking amid the ferns like a spectral figure in borrowed finery. I did not traverse the fog-shrouded avenues of the capital in that rattling conveyance for you to merely appraise the tapestries." The tapestries, Nalani noted inwardly, were exquisite, imported from distant isles, woven with threads of gold that caught the light in mesmerizing patterns. Yet such observations served only as distractions from the truth pressing upon her chest. "The lyra," Nalani murmured, the name carrying the weight of shared sorrows. Her aunt had opened her modest abode to Nalani after the cataclysm of her parents' downfall, a gesture born of love but heavy with sacrifice. Now, at 24, Nalani lingered as an unintended encumbrance, her prospects dimmed by absence of dowry or lineage. "I regret imposing," she said, her touch light on Thalira's sleeve. "But we both recognize my place here is illusory." Thalira's fan halted, her lined hand enveloping Nalani's in a grip softened by years. "You are no imposition, dear one. Merely obstinate as an ancient oak, and thrice as unyielding." A faint smile tugged at Nalani's lips. "Lessons from the finest tutor," Indeed, Thalira's resilience had been Nalani's beacon through tempests of loss. With a resigned sigh, Thalira guided her toward the refreshment alcove, where crystalline ices shimmered like captured starlight. Nalani navigated the periphery with honed precision, her posture a subtle deflection, chin lowered just so, expression a veil of neutrality that rendered her a mere shadow in the grandeur. This skill, forged over seasons of sidelined existence, shielded her from pity's sting. She had once been radiant, a girl of 16 whose world brimmed with promise, until a suitor's betrayal shattered it all. Kale Voss, charming, poetic, with eyes like summer skies, had pledged eternity, only to retract when fortunes faltered, his public renunciation a blade that severed her from society's embrace. From that wound, Nalani had learned armor's value. Invisibility was safety, hope a perilous illusion. "Miss Reyes, attend me forthwith." The command rang out, imperious and unfamiliar, slicing through the murmur like a clarion call. Nalani pivoted to confront a matriarch of formidable bearing, clad in sapphire velvet that defied convention, her neck adorned with sapphires that rivaled the hall's chandeliers. The woman's gaze, keen as a falcon's, fixed upon Nalani with unyielding expectation. "You there," the matron gestured with a fan of ivory and gold, its motion a decree. "Procure me a chilled cordial. This one has warmed to tepidity." Nalani blinked, comprehension dawning amid the absurdity. The gown's hue, her marginal stance, these had marked her as attendant rather than equal. Her attire, though pristine, bore the patina of seasons past. Her lack of jewels screamed obscurity. A prudent soul would comply, vanishing into obedience. But Nalani, ever the spark amid embers, felt defiance stir. "Forgive me, madam, but I cannot oblige. I am a guest, not in service, though I grasp the misapprehension. This ensemble does lend a governess-like air." The matron's eyes widened, a storm brewing, then erupted in laughter, a robust cascade that drew curious glances and silenced nearby chatter. "Oh, splendid!" A spirit unbowed amid the simpering throng. "I feared such rarities extinct." Nalani exhaled, tension easing. "They are scarce, indeed, perhaps rationed by decree." Another peal of mirth, and the woman extended a bejeweled hand. "I am the Dowager Marchioness Zephyrine Obi. In public, your ladyship, in private, Zephyrine. And we shall converse privately often, if my whims prevail." Nalani curtsied, her mind awhirl. Zephyrine Obi, the legendary arbiter of Eldoria's elite, renowned for her acerbic wit and tireless quest to secure her heir's future. "Nalani Reyes, your ladyship. Titles elude me, but unwed ward of a minor baroness may suffice." "It suffices admirably." Zephyrine linked arms with her, as if sealing a pact. "Now, accompany me to that alcove by the arches, and elucidate why you conceal yourself when the floor beckons. What would you do in this moment of unexpected alliance, caught between shadows and spotlight? Comment below and share your thoughts." Zephyrine's grip was firm yet companionable as she steered Nalani through the throng, guests parting like waves before a galleon. The Marchioness moved with the assurance of one who had navigated society's tempests for decades, her sapphire gown a banner of unyielding authority. Nalani allowed the guidance, her steps measured, though inwardly she reeled from the surreal turn. Whispers trailed them, speculation's subtle venom, but Zephyrine paid no heed, her focus a laser upon their destination, a velvet divan framed by arched windows overlooking moonlit gardens. "You were indeed concealing," Zephyrine declared as they settled, her tone brooking no denial. "I observed you a quarter-hour past, wedged betwixt pillar and foliage like a reluctant sentinel." Impressive camouflage. Was it innate or honed? Nalani smoothed her skirts, buying moments to compose. A blend, perhaps. Assemblies exhaust me, and my footwork lacks the polish to grace the floor without regret. Balderdash, your poise suggests otherwise. Zephyrine scrutiny softened, probing deeper. The issue lies not in steps, but in conviction. You've decreed yourself an outsider, and willed it into being. The insight struck true, a lance through Nalani's defenses. She arranged her fan meticulously, veiling her disquiet. Low expectations seldom disappoint, she replied at last. A serene existence, if unremarkable. A craven one, Zephyrine countered, though kindness tempered the edge. I recognize it well. Post-widowhood, I cloistered myself in rural exile, persuaded life had concluded with my consort's passing. Only my heir's peril roused me. Nalani's chest tightened. My condolences for your loss. 2 decades hence, yet the ache lingers, polished by time. Zephyrine patted her hand, a gesture unexpectedly maternal. But I recall equating security with joy, a fallacy, dear. They diverge vastly. Uncertain how to navigate this confessional tide from a near stranger, Nalani was spared by a servant bearing flutes of effervescent nectar. Zephyrine accepted with regal poise, pressing one into Nalani's grasp. Now, reveal your literary inclinations. Character unveils swiftly through tomes. Nalani sipped, contemplating. Eclectic tastes, tales of intrigue when accessible, scholars of antiquity for depth, verse when melancholy calls. Zephyrine's approval gleamed. And the sermons of Elder Thorn? Primarily soporific aids. Zephyrines' laughter rang anew, drawing stares. Oh, I adore your candor. A rarity amid the flock of fawning fledglings. Sincerity abbreviates exchanges efficiently. Nalani's tone lightened. Efficient and forthright, virtues scarce in this era's aspirants. Zephyrines' gaze swept the hall disdainfully. Observe them, vapid titters, feigned ignorance to allure. Despair-inducing. In fairness, they enact the scripts imparted. Acumen seldom rewards the fairer sex. Society errs grievously. Zephyrine's eyes met hers intimately. Call me Zephyrine in seclusion. We are allies henceforth, and formality bores me. Nalani nearly sputtered her nectar. I could not. You can and shall. Zephyrines' commands softened to invitation. Objections? Legion, yet futile. They lapsed into amiable quiet, observing a quadrille's intricate weave. Nalani felt adrift in this altered reality, where a marchioness elevated a shadow to confidant. He delays, Zephyrine muttered, eyes on the portal. Ever tardy, a critique of frivolity he deems unendearing. Who? My heir, Marquis Cashin Leclerc. Vowed attendance, yet arrives at the brink, converses minimally, departs precipitously. Zephyrines' fan resumed agitated beats. 3 cycles thus, encased in frost I cannot thaw. Nalani detected maternal anguish. Doubtless reasons underpin. Grief and remorse, forged into impenetrable mail, impervious to my pleas, comrades' concerns, certainly the cavalcade of matches I proffer. Zephyrines' timbre dipped. His sibling perished 3 annums passed in a senseless clash. Cashin arrived belatedly, cradled him in extremity. Dreadful, Nalani murmured, her own losses echoing. Profound sorrow. Daily I lament, failing one offspring, and in that void forfeiting the other. Zephyrine composed herself. Enough gloom. This revel merits levity. Recount your plight. Nalani obliged, narrating her guardian's demise, the squandered legacy, Thalira's benevolence, with brevity honed by repetition. Zephyrine listened sans pity, merely affirming nods. And union never tempted? Zephyrin queried. Contemplated exhaustively, yet unavailable sans compromise I abhor. Nalani set aside her flute. I shun security's snare, witnessing its corrosion in mismatched bonds. A sentimentalist? Unexpected. Not sentiment, tenacity. Subtle variance. Zephyrin's attention sharpened on the entrance. At last, the errant progeny graces us. Nalani followed her gaze, breath seizing. The man striding forth emanated storm's inevitability, tall, broad, clad in austere black that amplified his severity. Dark locks curled defiantly, his visage angular, compelling rather than comely, lips a line of perpetual disdain. But his eyes, storm-gray, unyielding, captured her utterly. Cassian Leclerc, Marquis of Eldridge, Zephyrin intoned. The frozen Marquis they dub him, flattered were he inclined to notice. He cleaved the crowd with ruthless efficiency, acknowledgments curt, deflections masterful. Reaching them, he brushed Zephyrin's cheek perfunctorily. Mother, you appear hale. I appear vexed, which you'd discern if you deign true regard. Zephyrin's retort held underlying tenderness, her fingers grazing his face. Tardy again. I am present, that sufficed. His glance shifted to Nalani, appraising her gown's antiquity, her unadorned grace, deeming her negligible. His bow was mechanical, a concession to decorum. Miss Reyes. Then dismissal, as if she evaporated. Indignation flared in Nalani, not chagrin, but fury at his presumption. She had sought no favor, yet his contempt scorched. Zephyrin, perceptive, glanced between them. Cassian, she proclaimed, a brilliant notion dawns. Mother! The forthcoming set, a valse. You shall partner, Miss Reyes. The declaration hung like thunder's prelude, the orchestra's strains swelling into a waltz's invitation. Cassian's frame went rigid, his gray eyes flashing denial. Nalani felt ice vein her blood, the surrounding murmurs amplifying her mortification. I abstain from dance, he stated flatly. As you well recall. You have abstained, nuance matters. Zephyrin's voice carried, ensnaring nearby ears. Yet Miss Reyes merits a consort, and I weary of your brooding periphery like a elegant scavenger. Mother, this venue ill suits. It suits impeccably. Unless you intend public rebuff, humiliating us both, extend your arm. Nalani yearned for oblivion, the parquet to engulf her. Whispers burgeoned, the frozen Marquis coerced into motion with an obscurity, a prop in maternal machinations. She parted lips to demur, propriety forsaken, but Cassian interceded. As you command. His tone steel, he proffered his hand sans glance. Miss Reyes, if you will. No plea, merely capitulation to lesser ignominy. Nalani should have declined, feigned ailment, extricated from farce. Instead, she accepted, his gloved warmth startling amid the chill. My gratitude, Marquis. Her voice steadied by will. Fortunate I avail to fulfill your duty. His eyes snapped to hers, surprise fracturing the facade. Had he anticipated simpering? He knew her not. The procession to the floor stretched eternal, spectators parting, gossips wake a spectral train. Nalani held poise, gaze forward, hand firm in his clasp. She denied them her stumble. Facing him, Cassian's mien stormed. This valse holds no import, he hissed, drawing her nearer than decorum permitted, his palm resolute at her back. The melody enveloped them, motion commencing. Convince your mother of that, Nalani countered softly. She beams as if scripting nuptials. His step faltered minutely. Impertinent. Honest, distinction exists. She met his gaze unyielding. Yet proceed elucidating its insignificance, particularly your proximity exceeding propriety. His jaw tensed, grip flexing, yet distance unbridged. You defy expectation. You anticipated void. I was mere decor to endure. Nalani's ire blazed. Inform me, Marquis, does dismissing souls as nullity come innate, or cultivated? He stared, mask cracking to bewilderment, something indefinable beneath. I intended no. Of course not. Such as you seldom do. Her words surged. It evades notice that the overlooked in outdated attire harbors sentiments, aspirations. Couples glided past, oblivious to their skirmish. Cashin steered mechanically, mind churning. You rage, he noted. Astute. She spun sharply. And directed at you, not your mother, whose intent purifies despite methods. You comprehend naught of me. I comprehend your kin's loss 3 annums past, self-flagellation ensuing. You grace these solely by maternal edict, broadcasting disdain. You've erected barriers impenetrable, deeming them sanctuary, when they isolate utterly. The indictment suspended, intimate beyond propriety. Nalani paled, realizing breach, exploiting Zephyrine confidence. Forgive, she whispered, ire collapsing. Unpardonable. I overstepped. No, Cashin's timbre altered, almost awed. You did not. Melody crested, pairs parting amid applause. Cashin released her deliberately. Gratitude for the valse, Miss Reyes. Formality restored, yet his eyes deepened, present. He bowed, she curtsied. He departed sans retrospect. Nalani lingered amid the floor, pulse thundering, thoughts chaotic. Her temper had raised years' camouflage. Across the hall, Zephyrine observed with contentment. Unseen, Cashin paused at egress, glancing back once before vanishing prematurely. Dawn's pallor greeted Nalani in her aunt's modest abode, sealing cracks of familiar map as she pondered the evening's upheavals. You danced, the Lyra burst in disheveled. With the Marquis of Eldridge, the realm's prime catch. Signified naught. Absurd, gossip mills churn by noon. Thalira's zeal ignited. The frozen Marquis, thawing for an unknown? Speculation abounds. Coerced by his mother, he loathed it. Nalani rose. And I voiced undiplomatically. The Lyra blanched. What transpired? I labeled him aloof, barricaded. Nalani buried her face. Seemed apt then. Catastrophic. The Lyra sank. Insulting a Marquis mid-valse? Your tongue, Nalani, dearest foe. I erred. Nalani embraced her knees. He viewed me as negligible. Fury overtook. The Lyra stroked her locks. The world bends not to justice. Swallow barbs for safeguard. I know. The bell tolled. Callers at dawn? Unheard. Martha bore a salver. A marchioness awaits below. Nalani's heart plummeted. Zephyrine. Cashin's breath came ragged, his frame a taut bowstring as he pivoted to the window, the afternoon's waning light casting elongated shadows across the archive's vast expanse. Dust motes danced in the beams like reluctant specters, and the air hung heavy with the scent of aged leather and forgotten ink. Nalani watched him, her own pulse echoing the turmoil she had unleashed, wondering if she had shattered something irreparable or merely cracked the surface. My sibling was superior, Cashin murmured, his voice a threadbare whisper against the glass. Gentler, more attuned to the world's subtleties, joys that eluded me, sorrows that pierced him deeply. I mocked his sensitivity, urged resilience. He paused, fists clenching at his sides. The eve before the clash, he sought counsel, details blur now, and I, weary, deferred to dawn. Dawn never came for him. Nalani remained silent, sensing the confession's fragility, Interruption would seal it away forever. The archives seemed to hold their breath, the tomes silent witnesses to this unraveling. I replay that dismissal eternally, Cashin continued, his timbre fracturing like brittle parchment. What if I had heeded? Could intervention have altered fate? His shoulders slumped, the weight of years pressing down. You could not salvage him, Nalani said softly, stepping nearer but halting short. Determined souls find paths to ruin despite love's efforts. He whirled, eyes raw with anguish. Certainty eludes. I know guilt's venom, it erodes slowly. She drew closer, her voice a gentle anchor. Your siblings' choices were his, punishing yourself honors not. Cashin recoiled against the frame. How presume his desires? From his legacies, missives, annotations, reflections. Nalani gestured to the chamber's treasures. He revered you, aspired to your fortitude, feared your disappointment. The words landed like arrows, Cashin staggering under their impact. No. Yes, every trace echoes admiration. Nalani's voice trembled. Seeing you now, eroded by remorse, would devastate him anew. Cease. Raw plea. Please. Forgive, I overreached. She retreated, but his grasp seized her wrist, tender, desperate. Stay. 3 syllables, a lifeline. Nalani turned, beholding him stripped bare, the Marquis reduced to a man adrift in sorrow's sea. I know not how to shed this chill, he confessed. Worn eternally, removal forgotten. Then peel gradually. She overlaid his hand. Commence with a fragment, a sensation, a dialogue of presence. Like this. They lingered in twilight's hush, fingers entwined, siblings' echoes a silent blessing. Nalani sensed the moment's gravity, the trust bestowed, the burden accepted. This deviated from her designs, mere sustenance, not entanglement. Yet holding him, she could not release. The Eldridge Gala dawned with society's splendor, carriages snaking avenues, attendees in resplendent array streaming into halls aglow. Nalani gazed at her reflection, the magenta gown, Zephyrine insistence, clinging like destiny, its beads shimmering promises. She appeared belonging, a terror in itself. Cease fretting. Zephyrine entered, regal in indigo brocade. Radiant, embrace. Imposter. Nalani adjusted a curl. You embody elevation. Zephyrine pinned with satisfaction. Cashin awaits below, vowed civility. Outcome pending. Since archives, dialogues evaded, yet tension thrummed, glances lingering, spaces charged. At stairs base, Cashin stood, black attire accentuating silvered eyes tracking her descent. Miss Reyes, he murmured. You captivate. Surprised. She accepted his arm. Complimenting clumsily, indulge. A smile ghosted. Zephyrine's ride hummed with unspoken currents, Nalani hyper-aware of Cashin's proximity, his folded hands a restraint. Arrival sparked frenzy, whispers igniting at their triad. Ignore, Cashin whispered, palm warming her back. They weary eventually, or we furnish spectacle. Before retort, protocol engulfed. Greetings, separations. Zephyrine vanished amid cronies. Cashin claimed by peers. Nalani edged the floor, longing stirring. Miss Reyes, unforeseen delight. The voice chilled. She faced Darius Hale, her erstwhile betrothed, beaming beside his spouse, a petite woman in lavender, expression neutral. Lord Darius. Nalani steadied. Charming encounter. Indeed, you flourish. Marquis circle suits. His scan invasive. Dowager gracious employer. She stiffened. And the Marquis equally? Insinuation slithered. Propriety upheld, unlike some. She pivoted, but his clasp detained. Old bond sake, we were allies once? Betrothed, then discarded. She freed. Ate via distance. She fled, shaken, not by remnant affection, but echoed fears. Cashin's potential incapacity for depth. Had she imagined warmth? You appear grave-haunted. Cashin materialized, nectar's proffered. Trouble? Fine, crowds press. Fabrication. He guided to quietude. Saw hail. His words. Inconsequential. Misriz Nalani. Name's intimacy halted her. Reveal. She met his concern. Warned of your frost, breakage, care's impossibility. Cashin's flicker. Not erroneous. I dispute. She held gaze. Armor, not essence. You care profoundly, concealed. Silence enveloped as ball whirled. You perceive excess. You conceal deficit, from me at least. Perhaps affinity's spark. You revive my vision of worth. He extended hand. Dance anew. Would you trust after such a veiled warning, teetering on passion's edge? Share your thoughts in the comments. The waltz enveloped them like a silken shroud, Cashin's hold firm yet reverent, their steps a synchronized rebellion against the hall's judgmental eyes. No longer the barbed exchange of their inaugural dance, this was a dialogue of bodies and breaths, his palm a steady flame at her waist, her gloved fingers curling into his shoulder as if to anchor the fleeting warmth. The orchestra's strings wove a tapestry of longing, and for the first time in seasons, Nalani allowed herself to surrender to the rhythm, her magenta gown swirling like petals in a gentle gale. Do you recall? Cashin murmured, his voice a low vibration against her ear. My claim that our prior dance bore no weight. You were mistaken, she replied, her chin lifting to meet his gaze, where storm-gray depths now held flickers of silvered light. It weighted everything. A fool I was, he conceded, drawing her infinitesimally closer, propriety's boundaries blurring. Terrified, more accurately. And you, furious, yet unyielding. Now. She searched his face, the lines of grief softened by something nascent. Now fear lingers, but readiness blooms. His arm encircled her more securely. Ready for inquiries if you'll entertain. The melody crested, and Nalani felt her pulse sync with his. You make me feel, he continued, as if awakening from perpetual dusk. 3 anims encased in frost, and you herald dawn. Her breath caught, the confession a balm to wounds she had long ignored. Cashin I. Miss Reyes. An interloper's voice sliced through, smooth as polished marble yet edged with urgency. Nalani turned to find Lady Ilara Hale, Darius's consort, curtsying with poise, her lavender gown a subtle foil to the grandeur. Might I request a momentary promenade? A matter presses. Cashin's warmth cooled. Acquaintance unfamiliar. Precisely the remedy. Ilara's eyes met Nalani's with veiled apology. Briefly, I assure. Nalani glanced at Cashin, his nod fractional. Join mother post-haste. Ilara led to the windows, where breezes cooled heated cheeks. Swiftly, Darius notes absences. Her polish dissolved to earnest plea. Miss Reyes, truths about my spouse, his deeds 8 anims past. Nalani tensed. Lady Ilara. Anne, she insisted, gripping Nalani's hand. His narrative, you as pursuer, fortune-seeker, heartbroken at dowry's loss. He forced dissolution for deception. Lies all. Nalani's world tilted. How certain? Pattern repeated thrice in our union. Seductions, pledges, discards for superior prospects. Anne's eyes glistened. Your ruin? Escape sans culpability, villainizing you. Why disclose? Saw you with Marquis, his regard evident. Anne's clasp tightened. Darius noticed, jealousy festers. He destroys joy he cannot grasp, will poison with fabrications. Mean how? Lies amplified, targeting bonds. And released, retreating. Arm yourself, truth precedes venom. She melted into throng before response. Nalani stood adrift, mind racing. Darius scheming, lies brewing. She must warn Cashin. Yet at Zephyrine enclave, he absented. Ere needed, Zephyrine frowned at Nalani's pallor. What ails? Lord Darius, he plots, Nalani faltered. Cashin now. Veranda, leftmost portal. Hasten. Nalani rushed, emerging to shadows where torches flickered. At extremity, silhouettes. Cashin and Darius, proximity hostile. Spare embarrassment mine, Darius's voice carried. Woman fortune's predator, say, do anything. Enough. Cashin's ice. Nalani advanced. Both turned, Darius triumphant, Cashin unreadable. Miss Reyes. Darius smirked. Topic you. Heard. Nalani steadied. His rendition of history, presume. His rendition. Cashin's search. He claims. The pursuit ruthless, deception, fortune's lure. Nalani lifted chin. Compelling fiction, false utterly. Miss Reyes, Darius began. 8 annums you courted, Nalani pressed. Verses, blooms, pleas to guardians. I believed love, naive youth. Absurd. Fortunes fell, choice, honor sans wealth, or flee villainizing me. Voice steadied. Escape chosen, reputation raised over poverty's admission. Cashin's stillness profound, eyes shuttling. Proof none, Darius spat. Verses yours, pledges scripted, dated. Nalani grim. Retained, foolish, yet provident. Counter his tale. Darius blanched. Private. Lies scripted by oathbreaker. Nalani faced Cashin. Whatever claimed, believe source air judgment. Tension thickened. Cashin's expression veiled, eyes mirroring flames. To Darius, depart. Leclerc. Depart, or compelled. Soft menace. Utter her name again. To any, and ruin ensues. Social, fiscal, total. Darius fled wordless. Cashin turned, tenderness emerging. You retained his missives. Everything, perhaps foreseeing need. Nalani whispered. Cashin comprehend, not fortune-seeking. Employment's sole aim. Whatever surmise. I deem you voracious utmost. He neared. Walls rival mine, from wounds protective. Yet despite sense, I fall for you. Words suspended, improbable yet destined. Cannot. Mean profoundly. Cashin closed gap. Dead was I, frozen, feeling perilous. You revive life's essence. Cashin, he cupped her face tenderly. Needed knowing. Nalani leaned in, heart fracturing anew. Falling since archives, since revelation. He uttered sound betwixt joy and sorrow, foreheads uniting, breaths mingling. Fools we. Tons scandalized. Survive. He kissed, promises seal, beginnings vow. Week ensued blissful turmoil. Cashin courted fervently, wild blooms daily, notes intimate. Proximity constant. Library aids, teas joined, park jaunts amid stairs. Zephyrine observed gleeful. Knew from sighting, precise need. Impossible prescience. Potential sufficed. Zephyrine's warmth. Smiles absent 3 annums, now daily. True, facade crumbled, Cashin debated passionately, touched casually, desire humming. No kisses post-terrace, foundation first, but wanting intensified. Friday eve, Zephyrine retired early, headache, pretext, leaving them solo in salon. Subtle as siege, Cashin quipped. Means well. Means unchaperoned. He settled beside, shoulders brushing. Offended. Careless. Silence comforted, fire crackling. Tell true, untold, Cashin prompted. Nalani pondered. Nightmares of Darius persist, not loss, humiliation. Wake fearing goods revocation, alone, unseen. He enveloped. Never, while I exist. Vivid you vital. Cashin. World gray priu. Color returns. I love you, she whispered. Tried resistance, futile. His joy transformed. Again. I love you, Cashin Leclerc. He kissed, heat and hunger thawing loneliness. Wed me, he said. Nalani's world spun in the wake of Cashin's plea, his eyes alight with a fervor that mirrored the fire's embers, his hands framing her face as if she were a fragile artifact unearthed from forgotten depths. The salon enveloped them in its amber hush, the scent of beeswax and aged wood mingling with the faint trace of his cologne, sandalwood and storm. Tomorrow, he pressed, his voice a fervent murmur. Tonight, if a cleric rouses. I know haste defies convention, courtship's rights, but waiting chafes. I yearn to prove your worth daily. Her pulse thundered, joy warring with caution's whisper. Cashin, she drew back, needing clarity amid the whirlwind. Desire, yes, overwhelms, but fear lingers. His brow furrowed, hope dimming to concern. Of what? This dream's fragility, that dawn reveals regret. Her voice trembled. Week passed, my presence irked. What if infatuation fades, trapping you with undesired consort? Silence stretched, Cashin's gaze introspective. When he spoke, calm prevailed. You seek assurance. Time, for certainty, endurance. She clasped his hands. I love you, believe yours. But errors past stake high. He nodded, a smile dawning. Then court I shall, properly duration yours. Apologies, not desired response. Needed one. He drew her close. Impatience mine, learning's chance. They lingered in embrace, future's canvas blank yet promising. Relief flooded Nalani, mingled with resolve. For the first time, hope felt ally, not foe. The Worthington retreat invitation arrived Monday, a gilded summons to pastoral splendor. Lady Kiyomi's domain, Zephyrine announced. Ally eternal, gatherings divert sans rigidity. Ample for strolls, pursuits, courtship. Her glance meaningful. Cashin, perusing dispatches, demurred. Affairs detain. They defer. Zephyrine's tone final. Escort us, partake, rediscover delight. Mother. Sounds enchanting, Nalani interjected. Respite from whispers. Cashin's eyes met hers, accord, shared intent for foundation. Agreed, we attend. Journey consumed daylight, landscapes shifting to verdant expanses until Worthington's spires rose. Kiyomi greeted warmly, her demeanor genuine, eyes sharp yet kind. Miss Reyes, Zephyrine extols. Comfort you've brought. Hope so. And thawing young Cashin? Approval total, gloomy overlong. Days blurred in idle, garden ambles, salon diversions, dinners lingering. Cashin shadowed Nalani, attentive, cards lost spectacularly, grounds explored in seclusion. Third afternoon, path led to lakeside pavilion, skies ominous. Rain commenced as they sheltered, droplets pattering roof like impatient fingers. Stranded hours, Cashin observed. Tragedy indeed. He drew her near. Conversations flowed, youths recalled, volumes cherished, aspirations forsaken and harbored. Nalani shared maternal fragments, warmth, Jasmine's whisper. Cashin unveiled sibling tales, rivalry, affection, lingering remorse. Contemplated your words, he admitted amid downpour. Siblings' choice inevitable, guilt's burden perhaps misplaced. And belief dawns. Wonder tinged. 3 anims waited, convinced betterment could salvage, But his path chosen, guilt alters not. Not erasure, release. Nalani softened. Asked for foundation, time grants. They kissed, tender, profound. Rain cocooned. Wed me, Cashin murmured. She withdrew, certainty blooming. Ask post-retreat, if unchanged. Truly, truly. Promise sealed in embrace. Retreat's finale, Kiyomi's sway, dance, merriment. Nalani attired meticulously, magenta evoking origins. Cashin awaited, eyes devouring. You beauty. Mutual. He laughed, arm proffered. Festivity enchanted, Nalani danced ceaselessly, heart buoyant. Waltz's cue, Cashin claimed. Recall. He drew close. Your words. Claim anew. His hold intimate. Nalani met gaze. Cashin Leclerc, will you wed? Music soared. He halted, embracing amid floor. Yes. Joy erupted. He kissed sans restraint. Zephyrine wept. The lyra toasted. Broken souls united. Return carriage should triumph. Yet tension reigned. Rider bore missive. Cashin's pallor deepened. Parchment pocketed sans word. Cashin? Nalani reached. Irrelevant to you. Chill returned. Zephyrine glanced worried. Journey silenced. At manor, Cashin secluded. Zephyrine emerged grave. From Darius, proof alleged. Nalani's blood iced. Contents? Unclear, but he deems fool for hope. Nalani stormed study. Cashin window-bound, rigid. Look at me. Depart. Not sans truth, Darius's claim? Proof arrived. Hollow. Documents, missives, your awareness pre-betrothal, deliberate pursuit. Lies. Nalani advanced. Twisted. Is it? He turned, wounded. Certainty no parchments interpretable thus? Memory surged, pleas to guardians, fears scripted. Not pursuit, survival. Loved or thought. Fear overwhelms. Hands pressed face. Cannot endure betrayal. Please, you know me. Want belief, reality eludes. Words lacerated. Then union unfit. She straightened. No foundation sans trust. What? Cannot prove eternally to doubt's slave. Tears flowed. Asked perfection, humanity failed, I fled. Violet, Nalani. Whatever, proof, not truth. Heart suffices, or not. She exited, he followed not. Chambers packed mechanically, tears staining. Zephyrine pleaded. Not thus. Cannot abide suspicion. He fears, wounded. I too. Embrace fierce. Love him eternally, but wed sans trust destroys. To the lyra she fled, heart shattered. Behind, Cashin sat amid lies, mother's accusation echoing. What wrought upon love's sole bearer? Rain lashed the capital for 3 relentless days, transforming cobblestones into treacherous mirrors that reflected Nalani's inner desolation as she stood sentinel at Thalira's window, the gray deluge a fitting shroud for her fractured spirit. The parlor's modest confines felt like a cage, the scent of damp wool and cooling tea cloying in the air. The lyra approached, her footsteps soft on the worn rug, pressing a steaming cup into Nalani's unyielding grasp. Sustenance, child. You've haunted that pain endlessly. Hunger evades. Nalani's voice was a hollow echo, her gaze fixed on the blurred world beyond. 3 days sans appetite alarms, for one who once devoured confections in weather's spite. Thalira's hand rested on her shoulder, a grounding warmth. A faint curve touched Nalani's lips. Singular incident, provocation extreme. Thalira's eyes held gentle insistence. Unburden, dear. What transpired? Nalani had withheld the saga's depth upon Dawn's arrival, pale and mute, but evasion crumbled under compassionate scrutiny. Love claimed me, then loss. The Marquis? Cashin? Yes. She sipped mechanically. Betrothed fleetingly, then Darius dispatched proof of fortune hunting. Cashin believed, I departed. The Lyra pondered. Chance for defense granted? He chose doubt. Post-evidence seeming damning from prior wounds echo. The Lyra turned her. Not excusing, querying if fear, not conviction, spurred. Difference. Vast, fear conquerable, disbelief terminal. The Lyra cupped her face. If terror prompted, hope persists. Cannot reassure perpetually. No, but forgive frailty from equal scarring. Eyes knowing. You fled pre-recovery, pre-right choice. Should instant? Compelling evidence, would you unwavering? Nalani conceded inwardly, she might waver. Perhaps brief. Brief sufficed for flight. The Lyra released. Not wronging departure, hastening perhaps. Now you vigil reign. He where? Enduring what? Uncertainty gnawed. Bell chimed, Martha bore news, dowager awaits. Nalani's heart lurched. Zephyrine entered sodden, resolute. Apologies intrusion, son imbibes oblivion at club, cowardice barring him. Throat tightened. Zephyrine. Hear fully. She gripped hands. 3 days passed, Darius visited anew, additional proof. I eavesdropped. More falsehoods? Yes, but overheard all. Zephyrine's hold firm. Accusations vile, twists insidious. Nalani tensed. Cashin's response? Question singular. If fortune sought, why refuse initial proposal? Breath seized. Darius faltered, unaware, assumed courtship ongoing. Zephyrines triumph. Cashin challenged motive knowledge sans facts, then ejected physically. Fury unprecedented. Post my exit. Yes, senses regained, you vanished. Zephyrine withdrew letter. Penned last eve, deliver if receptive. Nalani accepted, parchment waited. Zephyrine departed. Alone she unfolded. 17 drafts preceded, formal, desperate, excusatory. Truth suffices, hoping adequacy. Failed you. Should have scorned, proof, trusted known overclaimed. Fear prevailed, wounding beloved. Explanations abound, sibling, guardian, betrayals teaching pessimism. Fear of loss prompted preemptive push. Explanations no excuses, not excuses. Not beseeching pardon, chance. Merely, love you eternally. Whatever ensues, encounter transformed. If no sight desired, respect, cease pursuit, ease life. Peace merited. Yet if sliver believes future, earn trust lifelong. Not required, deserved. Deserve chooser sans hesitation, truster sans doubt, lover sans fear. Not yet, but aspire free. Thanks, seeing invisible me, challenging frozen, loving deemed unlovable. Revived. Yours is willed. Cashin. Thrice read, tears blurring, fingers tracing, voice aloud. Not pleading, truth bare. Zephyrines words echoed, fear overcome able. Own walls reflected, hope's foe from scars. Cashin's face haunted, vulnerable, terrified, joyous. She abandoned, denied fight's chance. Both faltered. The Lyra appeared. Well. Carriage needed. Decision crystallized. Zephyrine smiled. Rain ceased upon Eldridge arrival, streets glistening. Steward admitted sans surprise. Study, Mississippi. Door closed, light under. Nalani paused, heart thundering, then entered. Cashin slouched fireside, brandy dangling, unshaven, hollow. Eyes lifted, disbelief dawning. Nalani. He rose unsteadily. Letter, not expected presence. Read thrice, realize truth. She advanced. Feared hurt, fled first sign. No recovery chance granted. Left fighting's ease overstaying. Rightful. Perhaps, but hasty. Closer, pulse visible. Failed you too, asked perfection, fled humanity. Nalani. You know me, heart suffices. If not, not will. Tears brimmed his. Belief wanted, reality not. Then unfit. Yet she neared. But doubt, choose me anyway. Struggle, fail, rise. Want you, imperfect, learning. Deserve. Mutual. Smile through tears. Ask anew, from retreat. He stared, then knelt, hands clasping. Nalani Reyes, honor wedding me? Not deserved, cannot vow flawless, but love complete. Trust even terrifying. Choose daily through doubts. Yes. She whispered. He surged, embracing desperately. Kiss fire, salvation, both wept parting. Thought lost. Really, mutual. She wiped his tears. Here, counts all. Embraced as fire dimmed, future's labors ahead, but this moment sufficed. 6 weeks hence, the Eldridge Chapel bloomed with spring's bounty, orchids from distant shores, lilies pale as dawn, jasmine weaving through arches like fragrant memories. Sunlight filtered through mosaic panes, painting the ancient stones in hues of emerald and gold, the air alive with beeswax and petals kiss. Guests numbered 50, intimates whose presence honored connection over display. Zephyrine had advocated grandeur, but Cashin and Nalani insisted. Their bond merited sincerity, not pomp. Nalani paused at chapel's threshold, Thalira's arms steadying, heart aflutter with joy's terror. Prepared? Thalira queried. No, but advancing. Courage's essence. Music swelled, not march traditional, but melody Cashin commissioned. Haunting, ascendant, echoing their path. Nalani stepped, magenta gown trailing like destiny's thread. Cashin awaited altar-bound, Zephyrine beside, eyes locked on Nalani with intensity that stole breath. Impeccable in black, yet tears streamed unashamed, frozen Marky thawed publicly, indifferent to judgment. Reaching, he clasped hands, tremor shared. You came. Always. Squeeze reassuring. Vicar intoned. Words washed over, Nalani focused on Cashin. Grief's lines softened, love radiant. Vows. Cashin first. I, Cashin Leclerc, take thee, Nalani with. Promise love not flawless, but whole. Trust amid fear. Choose thee eternally, through shadows. Nalani's, I, Nalani raised, take thee, Cashin husband. Love as art, not ideal. Stay when arduous, fight when vital, forgive when due. See man beneath always. Pronounced wed, Cashin kissed passionately, chapel applauded. Breakfast evolved to Eve's revelry, toasts, dances, laughter. They slipped to gardens, bench overlooking blooms. Zephyrine insufferable, Nalani noted. Tale retold endlessly. Restraint shown. Cashin drew close. Planned since dawn post-revel. Told me, knew from sighting. Right vexingly. He kissed temple. Stars once foes. Wishes unfulfilled, hope wasted. Now. Some delay granting. She met gaze. Wished you unknowingly. I wished none, disbelieved. Beheld. Would you? Stars emerged, they lingered, future bright. 7 annums later, Worthington Gala mirrored first. Flames, crystals, swirls. Nalani edged, smile soft. Mama. Small whirlwind in teal clung. Ravi hid serpent in boot. Nalani knelt to daughter, 5, auburn locked, spirited. Ungentlemanly. Told him beast, eternal silence. He. Good, chatter excess. Indignation quivered. Brothers foolish, sister cleverest. Endure gracefully. Must. Ladies burden. Kissed forehead. Summon brothers, father speaks. Does. Will. Off she dashed. Trouble? Cashin appeared, nectars bearing. Unchanged, save wisdom's traces, eyes loving. Always Priya, Ravi instigates. Takes after mother. Father, you know. Arm linked, leaning. So much altered, Zephyrine passed peacefully, trio born, Ravi 7, dark-haired sharp, Theo 6, quiet, Priya screaming arrival. Life built, joys, trials, ordinary's beauty. Thinking. First dance here. Ah, weightless. Waits all. Music shifted waltz. Dance anew. 7 annums, took. Let. Hand extended. He drew close, propriety defied. This waltz not. Smile, pressing. Tell mother watching. Laughter spun them. Beyond, Zephyrine smiled eternal. How did this tale of thawed hearts resonate with you? Comment below and subscribe for more journeys of love's triumph.